virus across the country. At the same time, the government is warning that the financial damage caused by the pandemic will last for years. CBS's Manuel Bojorquez reports.
2 weeks after the Memorial Day holiday, some states are not only seeing a spike in coronavirus infections, but a surge in cases filling up hospitals. Texas reports more than 2,000 hospitalized, a record high. Arkansas hit a record too. And in Arizona, officials urged hospitals to fully activate emergency plans, as nearly 80% of adult ICU beds are full. Some hospitals say they've already reached capacity. CBS News obtained audio of the president's coronavirus task force telling governors they're worried about a spike in infections due to recent protests. This was Dr. Deborah Birx on the call.
It does worry me because not everyone was in a mask, and some people were shouting. And we don't know the efficacy of masks with shouting.
It all adds up to a pandemic Dr. Anthony Fauci calls his worst nightmare. He had this reminder.
Masks can help, but it's masks plus physical separation.
Federal Reserve Chief Jerome Powell says unemployment will likely fall to 9.3% by the end of this year and vows consumer support, holding down near zero interest rates through 2022.
We're not thinking about raising rates.
The push for a vaccine got a boost from the federal government, which reportedly announced it will fund and conduct 3 trials this summer involving roughly 30,000 people in more than 50 cities. A vaccine can't come too soon, as more places with crowds indoors, like movie theaters, plan to reopen. AMC announced a plan to open its doors next month. As for the outdoors, Miami reopened beaches for the first time in 3 months.
Do you happen to have a face mask?
Albeit with volunteers making sure people abide by the new social distancing and face mask rules.
We had to make sure that we have our masks on, and since we didn't have any, we'll have to go get some so that we can all be safe. That's the bottom line.
The director of the Harvard Global Health Institute has offered yet another sobering prediction that the U.S. could see another 100,000 coronavirus deaths by September. Manuel Bojorquez, CBS News, Miami.
Today, Governor Andy Beshear announced 191 new COVID-19 cases and 7 new deaths in Kentucky. At least 11,883 Kentuckians have contracted the virus. The death toll is now at 484. At least 3,375 people have recovered. There is only one county now without at least one case, and that's Robertson. Only 2 counties in our region have more than 50 cases, Jackson and Pulaski counties. Folks at the annual Apple Festival in Paintsville will have to wait until next year for their funnel cakes and music since the festival was canceled due to the pandemic. But the one thing that cannot wait is the fundraising. Johnson County Fire Departments depend on the festival for a portion of their annual budget. WYMT's Buddy Forbes spoke to local firefighters who say the loss of revenue could literally take their breath away.
No one does the job for the money.
When you call 911, you expect someone to be there, and 9 times out of 10 is going to be a volunteer coming to you to help you.
But volunteer firefighters in Johnson County are looking at a deficit as they lose the fundraising opportunity that comes with the annual Kentucky Apple Festival, which was canceled due to COVID-19.
And it's a major source of revenue for us. You know, we have a level amount from the state each year, and we have some county money, but to do those advancements and improvements and the new things that we need to help keep insurance ratings down, to be prepared to respond to all different types of emergencies. The extra money we all get during Apple Day is a big boost to us.
Departments say that boost is crucial in allowing them to keep their communities safe.
To have a good department with a good rating saves you money whether you ever have a fire or not. And of course, if you do have a fire, it makes all the difference in the world to have somebody 2 or 3 miles away as opposed to 10 or 12 or 15 miles away.
But those departments can only do their jobs with the right equipment. And some of that is in need of replacing, like the air packs that provide breathable air to the crew at Oil Springs.
It means that we will not, if our air packs aren't up to date, we will not be able to go inside of a structure fire to fight the fire or possibly pull someone out.
Fire Chief Aaron Cantrell says the festival being canceled this year is a hard hit, but the funding issues go deeper than the pandemic.
No volunteer fire department in this county should ever have to worry about funding coming from a festival. We need to be adequately funded where we don't have to go around with a boot stuck out or hand out asking for charity donations.
He believes proper funding should be built into the county's taxes.
There's plenty of oversight to be able to run a taxing district and be able to get what we need.
And he hopes to see some changes made in the future to keep the departments from seeing hiccups like this. In Johnson County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT, Mountain News.
Officials say anyone interested in donating to the departments is encouraged to reach out as they look for ways to offset the loss of funding.
Well, we had some strong to severe storms earlier this afternoon, a little bit into the evening hours, but starting to see all of that move out of here. Our severe weather alert day, of course, has been canceled now. A few kind of heavier showers, maybe a few rumbles of thunder still moving through the mountains, but that main line is now out of our area, just moved through Charleston, West Virginia. And those storms, some of them packed a little bit of a punch today. So starting to still see some heavier showers just moving out of Johnson County, a little bit into parts of Martin County, even some into Floyd County and up into northern Knott County, but they're mostly just kind of some heavier showers for this evening. It's all associated with this cold front that'll continue to push those storms to the east of us, and then it'll bring us some nice weather heading into tomorrow. So you can see some cooler temperatures back towards Carbondale, Paducah, those 70s into Owensboro and Bowling Green. Still a little bit on the warmer side here in the mountains, anywhere from those low to kind of mid 70s. Still those upper 70s if you're looking down into Jacksboro, but we'll continue to see cooler temperatures, especially as we head into tomorrow. We will see plenty of sunshine heading into the next several days with those cooler temperatures, and a much needed drier trend is on the way as well. I'll have a look at that full 7-day forecast coming up in a little bit.
We have some breaking news on a story we've been following for the last several days. Search crews have told us that they have found the man who went missing at a lake in Wolfe County. This is video from earlier today. Officials with Wolfe County Emergency Management have just told us that dive teams located and recovered the body of 20-year-old Jordan Lovelace of Breathitt County. Friends said Lovelace was swimming with friends Monday when the three tried to swim across the lake and Lovelace disappeared. But again, the breaking news, we have just learned that his body was found. A crash this morning on Highway 15 in Perry County left 2 teenagers dead and 1 in the hospital. The single vehicle crash happened around 5 a.m. It's not known what led to the crash. Gavin Fields and Hunter Gross were pronounced dead at the scene. John Max Slover was taken to a hospital. Hazard Mayor Happy Mobilini, who's also the principal at Hazard High School, says he coached all 3.
This is a huge blow to the entire town, community. I mean, all the families are intertwined and stuff. I mean, you know, and the kids are well liked.
We are told Slover is expected to survive. The Hazard Police Department is conducting a crash reconstruction. While the end of the school year was anything but normal, one county superintendent was not only in charge of the health and safety of her district, but herself. Kim King, the Knott County School Superintendent, is battling cancer. While meetings this time of year are to discuss the upcoming school year, King is worried not only about her staff and students' health, but her health too.
I go to chemo once a week, and I see my doctor once a month, and it's not been really bad. I mean, it's worked out well. I've had lots of radiation, lots of chemo, but it's worked well. I've been able to not miss any work.
Weekly chemotherapy treatments in Lexington help keep her healthy cells in check. King's husband was also diagnosed with cancer, but just this week, he was declared cancer-free. For a young child, the COVID-19 outbreak can be hard to understand, so 2 people took it upon themselves to write a book about it. The book is a how-to book following a little hero who is fighting the virus. The book also explains health guidelines the CDC has released. Author Hank Jevinen talked with local health officials and doctors, asking them what we should be teaching children. Illustrator Colleen Turner brought his ideas of the virus to life.
I called her and I said, can we make him up out of like rib bones, and his face moves around and he kind of mutates continually. And from the original sketches she did to the final cover, I have been blown away.
They have sold more than 200 copies of the book so far. In the future, they hope to hold book signings and have copies available locally. It's a new place to stay at the Red River Gorge, and it's almost something out of a kid's dream. A treehouse city of domes, appropriately named Dometown, is available for people to rent. Now, don't get too eager, though. These places are booked until August. 2 of them have AC and heating. 1 is a more primitive style of camping, and the 4th is a common area with a kitchen and 2 bathrooms. Kept up by Red River Gorgeous, the people who maintain these places say it's a beautiful getaway and experience.
And it's fantastic to spend time in the gorge in any way, canoeing, climbing, hiking. But being a Dometown or being in any of the tree houses or our cabins where you're actually in the forest or further in the canopy, you're just surrounded by the trees and the limbs and the light and the breeze. It's just so, for me, it feels so calming.
Owners of Red River Gorgeous said the estimated price range for the domes is between $125 and $250 a night. Pikeville Medical Center is asking women to stay diligent in taking care of their health. The hospital is focused on women's services, saying the pandemic has caused many women to stay home when they otherwise would have come in for their routine checkups. Checkups that OBGYN Tiffany Thompson says are important for making sure women are healthy. She says the hospital is equipped to keep those usual appointments during the pandemic.
We are safe and ready here at Pikeville Medical Center. We provide screening services. We have an all-mask policy. If you're sick, we need to know, but we also need to find things before they are worse.
Thompson says preventative measures are the best way to stay ahead of issues in women's health, but preventing issues requires proper screening. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, a state champion, D1 athlete, and a history buff. We sat down with J.R. Manhoose and talked about how he is honoring a family member and a World War II veteran.
Cooler temperatures and sunshine returns after this cold front moves through tonight. I'll have a look at your perfect 7-day forecast coming up.